Some might say that we are going to start the audio before I transition her over so that they can actually see our faces.
Oh!
Yeah, big my
Yo. Hey, we're live, pal.
Yeah.
Woo!
True, I'm already tired. True believers.
Starting out strong.
Oh, I don't have anything pulled up. Welcome to another arousing episode, titillating episode for you. If we learned anything from yesterday doing a bunch of recording, it's going to get real sexy in here real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Welcome to another episode of the Professional Casual Network presents... Wait, did I roll a wild? A Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog. I, of course, am the guy who sits in this chair, and I'm Chuck, and I'm joined once again by the CEO, Editor-in-Chief, Supreme Ruler, and Reptilian Overlord of the Professional Casual Network. That guy right there.
Yeah, that's me.
That's Tim. What's going on, man?
I don't know. I have only been here for an hour, so
Right.
you might have assumed that I had done anything with the cameras.
No, I know better.
The answer to that riddle is no.
Yeah.
It's got to be fresh, though.
Yeah.
I don't want an hour-old crescent roll. I want a fresh out the oven crescent roll.
Right.
That's what
Otherwise,
this is.
it's been laminated for nothing.
Right.
I've had that before. It's all right.
And an under-laminated croissant.
It's actually,
Croissant.
it's actually pronounced croissants. A lot of people don't know.
Croissant.
Oh.
Croissant.
I thought that's when you filled them with bacon and then they became croissants. Because pigs oink.
All right. And and of course, the reason why you're all here, the majestic one herself. Pretty sure she killed her husband because she's the only one who shows up on the show anymore.
Yeah, it's been a minute since
Yeah.
I've seen
That's fair.
Dan.
He's just taken not getting Iceman so
You
to
know,
heart.
yeah, that's
It's fair.
legitimate.
Danny doesn't get paid by the hour. Cole, welcome
What's up? Hi.
to the show. Look, we thought we weren't going to have a ton to talk about.
Yes.
And we have slightly more than that.
We do have slightly more than nothing to talk about.
Yes, which is actually pretty dope. First thing we have to do is finish going over the things that we talked about last week
Yes.
from the Ministravaganza, which is the changes to the core rules, as well as we got a little news today, literally today.
Yeah, we did.
But
Actually, a very welcome change.
yeah, about 2 hours before we went live,
Yeah.
roughly.
Late last week / early this past weekend, I did in fact send an email out to our friends at AMG and was like, hey, I just want to make sure, that we're all on the same page and that there will be something to talk about this week. And you know what? They did right by us.
They did. Not only that, but Dallas teased that this was he was painting up Green Goblin on
Yeah.
their stream, and he said, "I'm painting this up for possibly something coming out Thursday," and we were like, "Ooh, what does that mean?"
Yeah.
Well, we found out exactly what it means. Let's talk about games played and hobby thoughts,
Yes.
because that's usually the first segment that we do here at the show.
Yeah.
Believe you guys played a game?
We did play a game.
Did.
Yeah.
Tim actually played the game this time.
To be fair. She's right.
Sorry.
She's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Dan, when I got home, Dan was like, "So how did it feel to play against Tim when he didn't throw the game?" I was like, "It was fun.
Yeah.
It was really
That's rich
fun."
coming from Dan and the last game we played. But
Yep, pretty much. So did you take your me calling you a bitch boy in the chat and use that as fuel to turn you into the little engine murder machine that could, or what happened?
So here's the thing,
Yeah.
and this might be Mitch, Wargaming Dad, Tarquin, Sweet Biscuit, everyone just earmuffs right now. So it really comes down to, if I think I can win before 9 o'clock, I'll go for it.
Right.
If I think I won't win until like 9:20, yeah, then I throw that like a Shaq free throw. I don't care where it goes, just that it's no longer in my hands.
Right. That's fair.
That's fair.
That makes
Yep.
sense.
So,
Yeah.
all right, you can un-earmuffs.
Yeah. What happened? What'd you guys do? What'd you guys play?
It was a fun game.
It really was.
22 threat is big. It's girthy.
It was. It was a thick,
boy.
veiny boy.
Yep. Yep.
We played the second Empirical. matchup that was actually kind of super neat. It had objectives that disappeared at the end of the round. Once you scored them, they were just like, bloop, gone. You couldn't pick them up unless you like had under a certain amount of power. So every round, we would take turns based on who had priority.
Just in case.
Placing motes of power
Yeah.
within these chaos barriers, within 4 of the chaos barrier, but not within 2 of one of your allied characters.
Yes.
If you picked it up, you immediately got 2 power, but you couldn't interact with it if you could not gain 2 power.
Okay.
So like it was cool. You could pick up as many as you wanted. There was no tax to pick up more. It was super neat. And I think we both had lists too that had a lot of characters in it that really could use a bunch of power. I know looking at your list before we started, I was like, oh, Cyclops is there. Shit.
Yep.
He's going to be running around, moving everyone around with field leader and picking up motes, and this is going to be an issue. But Danny played X-Men Gold.
Yes.
And who was on your team?
I had Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine, Jean, Domino, and Tactical Bucky.
Oh, Tactical Bucky.
Yeah. My MVP, baby.
That old TB.
Yeah.
I played something different.
You played Defenders.
I played
Yes.
Defenders.
He sure did.
Doctor Strange with the Time Stone. Holy shit,
He was awesome.
by the way.
I
You
don't know why
usually
more
take the time stone on him.
No, so me personally or just in general?
You personally.
Oh, I've never taken a gem on him before.
No, you did against me.
Oh, I took the Soul Gem maybe?
Yeah, you took the other one.
Because the Soul Gem's only one threat.
Right.
Time Gem on him is just fucking stupid.
I would.
There goes
I don't
my
know why
last
more
one.
people don't do that.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
I believe that is pretty meta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it probably.
Yeah.
I would be
Yeah.
shocked if it wasn't.
It worked really well though, and I felt like it was totally in character for Doctor Strange. Like, why wouldn't you take the Time Gem with Doctor
Right.
Strange? You know what I mean? Like, duh.
It's expensive. It's 7, and I really
Right.
wanted to run Scarlet Witch in that too. So this was really kind of the Crisis 2 run it, because I was like, oh shit, we have 22, so I don't feel like I'm spending half of my points on just Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. And Scarlet Witch did okay during the game, but she wasn't by any means like killing everyone in sight. She was mostly having trouble seeing through a donut. But
It's fair.
with the portals, which we had never used before on the stream, being able to, I kind of clustered everyone up dead center. Wong, Doctor Strange, and Luke Cage. Used the portals of Farella or whatever. Move that up.
Falafel.
Falafel.
Those were awesome.
They were
That was
like
an excellent play.
just stupid good. Because our motes we could drop at any point, and so I kept dropping them in the back, and I would just portal Strange back, pick up both, teleport him back forward. He'd have 4 extra power. I could
Yep.
heal. I could give extra dice to everyone. It was baller, and he was always had the power to time gem for a 3rd attack, and was just sitting in the middle like a turret, zotting anyone that got close.
My 2 downfalls. So when you were the secure objectives, whichever characters were securing them, you had to roll a die, and on different die results, different stuff happened. I always got the one that just like straight fiery hemorrhoid in my butthole every single time. Where
Yeah.
it's like you lose 2 power and gain a damage. I'm like, what the fuck? And Tim's like, oh, you get 6 power and 3 new characters or whatever. Like that for me, just
Makes
me
sense.
rolling the dice. I got totally screwed with that. And I should have targeted Doctor Strange way more heavily because it came down to if I could have dazed him in my last attack, I would have won.
Yep.
That's how close it was.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it at the time.
I didn't either.
Right. But afterwards, I was like, yeah, shit.
I appreciate you saying that you didn't realize that, because towards the end of the game you were like, it doesn't matter, it's over, and I was like, oh yeah, I should stop trying to be a dick and just kill everyone.
Yeah.
But then it got to her turn and I was like, oh wait, no, I haven't actually won this yet. Shit, I'm glad I was a dick and kept trying to kill her.
Yeah. And when he was like, watch me, I'm going to win so hard right now. And then you only beat me by 2 points.
That's true. That's true. Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
being too over the expectation is honestly
Right.
a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. It was super fun, though. I really liked the
game
scenario. That was
Yeah.
super cool. The teams were super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun to play. I kind of wanted to hold off on playing X-Men until we got the new people because, like, I'm going to be running
Yeah.
Rogue and Gambit.
That's
all
going to be 8
over.
months from now.
That's what Dan said. He's like,
Yeah.
that could be in November. That could be in 6 months. It depends on
no, they
the
said
bars.
cute.
They said Q2 of 2021, which puts it in the March era.
Yeah.
Is this 2021?
Of 2022.
22, whatever. Listen, time's relative. at
I'm
this point.
just clarifying.
Listen.
You got a
it's-
time gem? It's relative.
It feels like it sometimes.
So yeah, Dan was like, I would not hold off if you're waiting for those characters. Like,
Yeah.
just play
Yeah,
the
it's not
thing you
worth
want to
it.
play.
You're not going to get them
So.
until probably Christmas of next year,
Yep.
realistically
Yep.
speaking.
And sorry,
No.
you would have absolutely loved this. Did a real Chuck Shaw move. Reading one of my tactics cards. Did not read it correctly, and I was
Yes.
like, no, it does. And like Tim and Anthony are trying so hard to explain it and not mansplain it.
To be
Like,
fair, I normally try to stay out of it once Anthony gets involved because I'm like,
Right.
this is going to be a 10-minute turn. But
yeah.
He gets
And it was
graphs
because
out,
they kept
like-
explaining it to me, and I was like, no, but, and they're like, no, that's not what it, and I was like, no, it says right, and then I was like, oh, that's not what it says. So
Yeah,
I
yep.
played 0 tactics cards, which Dan was like, props to me for being that close,
yeah.
using 0 tactics
Yeah.
cards. So if people watching and listening to this have tips on remembering or utilizing tactics cards ever, just hit me up.
Right.
Because I don't. And then, of course, we start, and like everyone in the chat is like, oh, do you have a med pack? Do you have a this? Do you have a that? And I'm like, no, I didn't take any of that stuff. Like, do you have this specific thing for Wolverine? No, I didn't take that. I just take the ones that Dan sets out for me.
That's your
But yeah,
first
yeah,
mistake.
there
No,
you go.
in
Yeah.
it, he sets out like 5 cards or 10 cards, and he's like, these are like some of the good ones to use. These are some specific for your affiliation. Like, this is a good place because otherwise I get like analysis paralysis, and then I get, that fiery hemorrhoid again, and I can't make a choice. So
Yeah.
it's a good time.
Yep. But Cyclops did a whole bunch of work. She lined up some really fucking rad concussive blasts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That I was constantly like, I play Cyclops all the time. How am I regularly falling into this trap?
I think Cyclops. I don't think Cyclops gets a good enough rap for just how good he actually is.
Yeah.
So, because I think that people are so clouded by his shitty
Affiliation.
team leader
Yeah.
ability that it's like, man, fucking Cyclops. But yeah, he actually was probably the best one that I had. Bucky was great too.
Yeah.
Don't tell Dagny I said that.
I don't.
I'm Team Bucky now. It's fine.
I actually, the more I look over Bucky's stuff, he does have a little bit of movement shenanigans.
He's got a
in
good
there.
kit for
Yeah,
a 3.
for a 3, and the fact that he can count Rogue Agent. I mean, he's not Taskmaster good.
Correct.
But he has the range. Like if you need a list
Yep.
where you need somebody possibly to fill a role to help you get an affiliation that is in an affiliation that doesn't have a ton of ranged people, I think he actually is pretty solid to go in there. And is it Red Fury or whatever it is that he has? Actually pretty solid. And he
Yeah.
doesn't have other than doing Hydra tactics, he doesn't have a ton of stuff to spend energy on anyway.
Right.
Right.
So
And
and he's good at holding back objective. That's what he's there for.
I'm
Right.
curious if he is going to get a slightly stronger builder, if his assault rifle will go to a 5 when they potentially rework some of the cards from
Most
the core
likely.
set.
I think Bucky is going to be one of the reworked.
Yeah.
Like hard. I think they'll bring his Hydra tactics up to what's her face's level, Medusa's level.
Yeah.
Being either you can jump or he can jump or the person he's jumping,
Yeah.
and just kind of bounce it out and bring it up the same point value because I think it's 1 point less maybe, or it's the same points, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's also a 3.
One thing just really quick that I'll always point out, it just got brought up in the chat by Mitch. Cyclops is good and Scott was right. So
But Scotty doesn't know.
listen, Scotty doesn't know how to make a incorrect decision is more like it.
Don't tell Scotty. I am seeing in the chat from Mitch and Wargaming Dad some tips about how I can remember to use tactics cards, like keeping them near the dice. After the power phase, look over my tactics cards. After I activate a character, look over the tactics cards. So, guys, I appreciate all that feedback. Thank you. I'm going to try to do those things.
I actually really like the ritually after the power up or after the power phase, looking at your tactics cards. I think that's actually super solid.
We just have to remember the power phase.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tactics cards.
Um,
It's a new show. It's a spinoff coming this fall on NBC.
But no, I thought it was a really good game. It was a really good matchup. I forget how overwhelmingly difficult the cover part of the X-Men Gold Affiliation ability is.
Yep.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
number one, you do have to remember it all the time, too, which is a pain in the dick. But it was like, ugh. And there was, I think, I was putting, like, boxes of bullets into Cyclops at one point. And it was just like, she would roll 3 or 4 successes and then crit. And then she'd be able to turn whichever one she didn't pass on to it. And it's like, I'm not even, like, rolling bad on attacks this time. I just can't get anything through. But thankfully, it was Cyclops. So I was
Yep.
like, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Someone stole his motorcycle. You know what I mean? I kind of
Right.
feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
So I do think back to a quote that I actually just recently read last night from a little book called Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe,
Okay.
where he's on trial, and the judge says, but there can be no excusing the fact that you murdered some of the nation's greatest heroes, ... and the X-Men, like Cyclops and Jubilee.
Oh shit!
And I meant to
here's-
post that in our Discord.
So here's why I hate the Punisher.
Yeah.
Because they put Cyclops and Jubilee in the same sentence together like
Yep,
that.
Right.
that's fair. That's
Unless
super
it's
fair.
like an A to Z thing. You know what I mean? Unless
Right.
it's like, it's all of them. All the way from Cyclops to Jubilee.
Yep. Yeah, I just really appreciated that.
Yeah.
I meant to tag that in our Discord over at patreon.com/professionalcasual. For as little as $1, get access to our Discord.
It's a great Discord.
It is. It's super solid. Hobby stuff. So I actually did some hobby stuff.
What'd you hobby?
So I did some alt models painted up, and I got I got Sin and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Scarlet done.
Okay.
I did alternate costumes. I painted Sin to look like Baroness from G.I. Joe. And I got Scarlet done to look like... I got
Black Widow?
Black Widow done to look like Scarlet. And then... what was the other thing I did? Oh, I had some alt sculpts from Nuclear Firefly of a Peggy Carter.
Yo, that model looks badass.
It's a very good. If you're looking for like an alt sculpt, especially of Peggy Carter, check out Nuclear Firefly for sure. And I'm working. Oh, and I got Throg. I got a Throg.
I have seen your Throg updates. I want to just point something out here. The eyes on your models
Yeah.
are always fucking on point.
Which is weird. Like I don't usually paint eyes. I'm not
Yeah.
a eyes, but when they are gigantic frog eyes, it works out really well.
It's true.
I see a lot of eyes on different groups and stuff like that, where like everything looks like googly eyes. They're always in different directions.
Yeah, your best bet honestly is to go one shade darker than what you're using for the skin wash, and
Okay.
just flood the eye sockets with it. Because very realistically speaking, like the old adage of "don't shoot them till you see the whites of their eyes" was because guns weren't ever going to actually hit the target
Yeah.
because the accuracy was so poor back
Right.
then.
Yeah.
So like that definitely applies to miniature painting. Like
Yeah.
you would never actually see at this scale the whites of models' eyes most of the time unless you are super zoomed in. So you have no reason to actually paint them. Painting eyes is dumb and it's try hard and it's silly.
But you're Try Hard Charlie now.
Every once in a while I do get try hard Charlie and I paint frog eyes.
That shield on your Peggy Carter though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So another really helpful tip: if you do a shit job painting, just weather it and chip it, and that's the easiest way to fix it. So
It looks so good.
yeah, it came out pretty well. So
Mitch does bring up a point, and granted for the podcast listeners, this won't be super helpful, but you should bring the models that you work on each week so you can show them off a little bit.
yeah,
Okay,
it's a lot of work.
that's fair.
Yeah, they will in May be on the stream. You know,
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
You know, eventually they'll pop up.
It's gonna be May.
I probably, if we were smart enough, we could figure out how to just put the photos up on the screen. If we were intelligent enough, but we're not. We're not that good.
Now I'm gonna dick around.
It
and
also
getting that
says
up,
that this is Elite Eight Showdown on the screen too,
oh,
which I super appreciate. Free advertising for my podcast.
I thought it was a really funny joke that someone said when they were like, "What is this, Elite Eight Showdown?" now it makes a little bit more sense.
Yep. Yeah. Listen, we only had an hour to prep. All right.
Some of us had 3 weeks to do it. And the rest of us had 3 weeks to do it.
That's very accurate. A lot of people might say.
Yeah. Other than that, oh, and I got a Hydra Stomper alt print too that I've just
Did you?
that I'm just painting up to go with Peggy Carter. I don't know if I would ever field it in any way.
Yeah.
As like a substitute for something else, but I wanted to take a break from actual MCP stuff.
Yeah.
Just to have just something different. Palette cleanser. That's what I've been working on.
Yeah.
Essentially. I have Viper sitting on my desk. I'm like, I should paint her. I just have no idea what I want to do with her yet.
Yeah.
My colleague messaged me. I was out yesterday for an appointment, and my colleague texted me, and he was like, hey, there's a new episode of What If out. And then he sent me a YouTube link. And in text, it doesn't show the thumbnail to the YouTube video. So I was like, oh, sweet. I click on it. And the day before at work, he had told me he made his wife watch this video. It is scenes from Pretty Woman, but Julia Roberts' face is replaced with Willem Dafoe's face. You can't unsee it. It's so good.
All
it's
right.
really, really hilarious.
I'm so happy just as a species, we are at the level where we have the technology for readily available deepfakes.
Yep.
And that we have only used it for memes and porn.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. That being said, let's talk about some news, and then we'll deep dive some of your favorite.
Some hard data.
Some hard data.
I'm actually pretty stoked
That's
for
why
this
people
hard
come to
data.
the show. Hard data.
Yeah, rock
Hard
hard
metadata.
data.
Yeah,
Rock hard data.
Watch us analyze this rock hard data.
exactly. But let's talk about the news that dropped today. We got a new Green Goblin card.
We did.
Not expecting that at
With
all.
some super welcome changes.
Yeah. So both myself and Throwlash Gaming in our Discord, again, patreon.com/professionalcasual, as well as $1 get access to our Discord, we were friend and fan of the show. A Tactical Taylor. Throwlash
Tactical
Gaming.
Taylor. The old ATT. You know me.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much we both said, like, we didn't think this character needed to be updated, but a very welcome change.
Yeah.
And
There was the affiliation needed an update. It needed a.
we all agreed.
little
Yes,
tweak.
we all agreed to that. We'll talk about it, and then I'll tell you all why it's dumb that they did it.
Oh.
Yeah, I got a bit of a hot take.
Okay.
But let's talk about all the things that I didn't realize weren't changed.
You and me both, actually.
Yeah. So the biggest thing here is Oscorp weaponry is changed, and they took away the power cost.
Yes.
I saw some chatter. A lot of people were kind of bummed that it was still a reroll, but now it's free, causing your opponent to reroll one die.
And we've talked about that specifically too.
Right.
That if they were going to change it, that would fix it for me personally.
Right.
Take that away or make it to turn to a blank or something like that. I think it's a great change. I'm super stoked that it did it. And someone else said it earlier in chat. Everyone is Spider-Foes people now.
Yeah.
Like.
Yep. Well, and you may re-roll one of your opposing defense dice. You still have the potential of taking something and turning it into something successful again.
Yeah.
But taking that power cost away is better. I saw some chat about upping the power to like 2 and making it a pierce. And I said, absolutely not. That would have been totally broken. Just making every character on your team then have pierce on your opponent's turn would have been brutal even at 2 or 3 power, because you're going to be way too tanky, I think.
Yeah.
But I like this. I think this was a smart, and it was an easy fix.
Yeah. Yep. And it fits with a lot of the other changes that we've seen from the updated character cards, which is leaning into the modifying the opponent's dice step and modifying your own dice steps things, where they're actually declaring what step it happens during versus just after they roll, which is kind of how it was usually listed in the past.
Yep.
The big thing for me, though, and I feel this, I always overlooked it until I was playing Green Goblin, and I would go to use pumpkin bombs, and I'd be like, oh, it's only 4? It's only 4 strength? That's stupid. This is dumb. But now it's 5.
Yeah.
Well,
Which,
it's 5 on his healthy side, and it is 6 on his injured side.
Interesting.
Which I think tracks from where it was
Yeah,
before.
makes sense. Yeah.
And I think that's the only 2 changes for him, but they didn't change how much Knight of the Goblin cost on his injured side. That was just always the case.
Yep.
They didn't change the strength of pumpkin bombs on his injured side. That was always the case. And I can't remember if there was anything else that we were like, oh, they must have just changed this. But we really had been there all along.
Both of us did not realize that his stats changed when he flipped.
Yes.
But again, and it should be super important to point out, at least for me, is defending myself in this, is I never had Green Goblin flip and then get to use him, because he always got immediately assassinated
Yeah.
as quickly as possible. I think it's super smart. My worry is this is setting a precedence that now everybody is just going to expect that every character is going to be changed.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
Because like Thurlash and I had kind of gotten into is like, we didn't think that other than the affiliation bonus, which is they could have very easily gone in and just changed that and called it good. They tweaked other little things. I will agree that his power generation wasn't the best, but he was stacked at 7 stamina, because that never changed either, that he could take a punch.
Yeah.
And he would be fine. I worry where this is going.
I could see that, and I hope it's a one and doneer. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I don't want to see, because they've talked about how like they've potentially targeted, or they're taking a look at, or another pass through on the first 50 characters released. I hope that once that pass is done, that it is done, and every 2 years we're not getting new passes on, because it's not going to be long before we're at triple digits for characters.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So I don't want to see I don't want League of Legends balancing.
Right.
Where every season they're going back and they're getting some of the base set and they're changing things around and this, that, and the other thing. So they've done very well, I feel, so far on balance. The tweaks, honestly, on a lot of these cards are pretty minor. So hopefully that stays.
And so far, from what I've seen, the things that they've changed just make the characters more usable. Like, no one was using Hulk
Correct.
because he was
An
trash.
absolute joke. Yep.
You know, and so they took that player feedback and they applied that, and then they updated and made him better. I'm hoping that that's, like you said, where it ends, and
Yeah.
we'll go through the first 50 and look, because honestly, it makes sense with how many characters have come out and what they've had to do. It makes sense looking back and being like, oh yeah, that first box could really use a couple little tweaks here and there to make them more playable.
Yeah.
That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. And like I say, we all agreed that the affiliation bonus needed to be fixed.
Yes.
Um,
Probably
but
one of the only ones that really did need to be fixed outside of Guardians.
right.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I worry what they're going to do with Guardians.
So today on their Facebook, they did post a picture of the Guardians
Yes.
with a bunch of hashtags. So I'm curious if, who knows, 3 hours from now,
Right.
they probably drop a whole bunch of things that they're going to be changing with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
And the thing is, like, I don't really think the Guardians need a lot of, like, the very, like, each individual character
Yeah.
needs a lot of tooling, a lot of retooling. I think Drax is totally fine the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think combined together, Groot and Rocket are absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Just because people don't take Groot doesn't mean that he's not a good character. But I know there's like a lot of argument that Gamora needs to be retooled a little bit, and I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah, she's kind of glass cannon-y, but I think
That's kind of the
I
point.
think that's the point. Yeah.
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 The problem is their affiliation bonus. I guess maybe kind of Peter, like Star-Lord could be a little tweaked because he just doesn't have a lot going on.
Right.
But I think the easiest fix is you just get to keep the tokens. You don't lose the tokens at the end of the round.
So Tarquin in the chat says that I guess on stream, they did say potentially, hypothetically, allegedly, that Guardians will be getting a new leadership. So
All together?
maybe,
I don't like that. I'd rather retool the one that they have
yeah,
and just make it workable instead of just completely redoing it.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
yeah. I could see them making Plucky Attitude available to everyone for like a power or something like that. If you roll 0 successes on an attack or defense, you can spend 1 to re-roll all of your dice
Yeah,
outside of spells.
that just makes him not as good.
Yeah, but then they'd make his Plucky Attitude extra Plucky Attitude, and
Makes sense.
then he can re-roll your opponent's dice if they get only successes.
That sounds awful.
That sounds great.
No, that sounds really dumb. I don't like that.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. The one time I spike. You know?
In
Yeah.
chat, they're talking about Star-Lord getting hit and run.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that fits.
Yeah, just give him a hit run.
Great idea, Justine.
Makes sense. Anything else? We done? No, we got a bunch of
We got a lot.
we got a data dump here, baby.
Well,
just
before we
typed
get
data
there,
dump.
we need to
that,
talk
not
about
that.
the gem and roster changes.
Oh,
That
I
was
forgot
something
because we
covered
don't
together.
actually ever follow those rules. So it was funny to me because we were we were talking in the chat, like, hey, what do we got to talk about? And I almost wrote, a bunch of stuff that literally rules we never follow.
Yeah, that's fair.
when it comes to roster building and things like that.
I mean,
but
roster building and priority and things like that are definitely the most thrilling and exciting part of watching a stream.
yeah, makes sense.
So,
Yep. But let's talk about it right now. Tim, go ahead.
So, effectively what they changed was when you build your roster, gems, Infinity Gems, no longer take up a roster slot. So you can feel free to actually have all of them somewhere in the mix, because you don't need to take just the Black Order and the 5 Infinity Gems, and that's your 10. So,
Okay.
super cool move there. The bad move, though, and I feel like this is the double-edged sword, is that when you put Infinity Gems on your roster, they are attached to characters, and there is no
Taking him off.
taking them off. So that, I feel, really hurts Black Order,
Yes.
because you get no variation. There's no, well, maybe I'll run Thanos with this or that, or maybe I'll put the Reality Gem on Corvus, or maybe I'll put the Power Gem on, someone else. I forget what's, maybe it's Mind and Space that Ebony Maw have. But
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, if you put them all on Thanos, that's the only person that can use them. Doesn't
That's
matter.
a bummer.
Real quick,
Yeah.
speaking of retooling characters, it is pretty much well known that Ebony Maw is getting retooled.
He could use it.
My worry is that he's going to become Black Order Scarlet Witch, and I don't want two of them.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's essentially they are the same character. We're designed to be very similar to the same character.
Yeah. Yeah, I could certainly see that. And if they give... Here's what really needs to happen with Ebony Maw that would make him a little bit more competitive, is force people, opponents of people using Ebony Maw, to run Dr. Octopus and Black Dwarf. Just really kind of balances that out a little
Yeah.
bit. Then he can really reliably throw Black Dwarf into other things. And granted, I think the biggest buff for Ebony Maw is Hulk being usable again.
Right.
So
Right. That's super fair.
throwing size 4 characters at other characters is rad as hell.
Yeah, it works really well.
Rad as hell.
It's a great way to not make friends. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
It's a great way to ruin a stream. You know what I mean?
Correct. And then did you want to touch on the new Crisis?
Oh, there's another thing for roster building. You get 10 crisis cards now, not 8. I just remembered that. That's the other big change.
Oh, that is super cool. That gives a lot of those really niche.
Literally why they... I mean, yes, it gives a lot of room. It's like, oh, cool, I could bring these niche ones that I'm never going to pick of my 5 still.
Still, but now
know?
now they're on the table.
Right.
Now we get them in the Xavier Protocols like data dumps.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're instead of 0%. Well, maybe I will take
maybe.
No More Mutants or something like
Right.
that, because
Yeah.
I probably will run Scarlet Witch a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe I will take because Ebony Maw is buffed now that Hulk's on the table.
Right. Right. That was the other big change. And then the new Crisis change, which is that you still build your decks of 3. You shuffle them around, and you, instead of discarding one and choosing from the 2 that are left over, essentially the one that you discard becomes the one that you play. So
Okay.
you take the random one, but you still get to determine priority, and I believe whoever has priority gets to determine whether they want extract or secure. So you do have a little bit of control still.
Okay.
So what's the full setup? Just because we've never played with it before. I don't know if anyone's mentioned that previously, but when you make your list, what do you actually bring?
You bring 10 characters.
Uh-huh.
You bring 10 tactics cards. You bring the character cards.
Yeah. As far as Crisis specifically, what's the intent of the question?
Oh, I just thought you meant like what is all this? You need
Oh,
the dice.
you should
and the
bring your
measure.
phone,
Yeah.
maybe
I
a
highly-
wallet in case you get hungry and you
Right.
want a snack.
Water.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I do highly recommend that you bring the models that you actually want to use.
Okay.
Yeah, not put them in a different cardboard box in your office. That would be recommended.
Yeah.
A mayonnaise jar to piss in.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know.
that's how they get you.
Yeah. You get to bring 3 extracts and 3 secures.
Okay.
And typically you want to build your rosters around playing one of them.
Yeah.
So, but it used to be that you discard one and then you can choose one, choose which one you want to play. So it made going to tournaments, like you kind of always knew that these lists were going to be the ones that were going to get played because you would always try to force this one that you want to play every time.
Gotcha.
Yes. Mitch just mentioned in the chat, and I think this is super awesome, and I would love if this happened, but making Ebony Maw a second leader for the Black Order.
That could be cool.
Because he would normally be the one that showed up first anyway, so if you didn't want to have to spend 9 points and only 9 points forever on Thanos in your roster.
I think, yeah, I get that, but I also think a bare bones Thanos doesn't get enough credit.
I think that would be rough, I feel like. 'Cause bare bones Thanos is fine, but like... Because you'd be locked in with that roster of Thanos never being able to make use of the Infinity Gems, that's a commitment.
Yeah, but I think going wide on Black Order also isn't a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't actually ever play this game anymore.
Yeah.
And I've never been successful with Black Order anyway, but...
Me neither.
I murder fucked... Excuse me. I was able to get off a great execute on She-Hulk with Black Order, which was all I ever wanted to do, and just erased her from the board. So
That's true. I've also watched you all you got turn 1 with Thanos. And
you're right. Sometimes I throw games
Yeah.
well before
you
9 o'clock.
You throw games well before 9 o'clock, and you still win.
I still won that one?
You still won that one. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Yeah, Dan got too cocky. And then you went, all right, you little bitch boy. And then you put him back in his place. Literally was the match that... It was quite the sight.
Okay.
Yep. Because I even called it out. I go, oh, Tim's throwing this game turn 1, I see. And then...
That's probably what it was. It was like, I can't be called out.
Yeah, and then Dan was like, I've got this one in the bag because I'm going to take down Thanos next turn. And then your face went super serious, and I went, uh-oh. It was a game.
He's using a tactics card.
that was-
Watch out.
Yeah. Pretty much what happened.
Watch out.
You want to talk about some data?
I do.
All right, let's talk about some data.
I do really want to talk about some data. So the Xavier Protocols have released their initial data dump for Season 6 of their league. And number of things I wasn't necessarily expecting to see in here. But because we have everything revealed for Midnight Suns, for the Dark Dimension, for some of the new X-Men characters that are out too, I don't know if those got put in here or not. It doesn't look like it, but...
Same.
Midnight Suns and Dark Dimension being in here are super awesome. So, straight from the top, Sam Spam moved all the way to the top as far as the most popular affiliation to be made. Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, because Scarlet Witch had just come out and Quicksilver were at number 1 before, but Avengers were 8th. Went from a 7% as far as overall affiliation being able to be made to 20%. More than doubled, and is now the number 1 affiliation.
Wow.
So I think going forward, they have to take a look at something like this and be like, we need to build into almost every affiliation the ability to run very different types of leaders at very different threats that have very different styles of play. Because that Sam Wilson, I keep wanting to say Sam Fisher, and that's super unfair because I don't think... Falcon has ever snuck up behind anyone and just snapped their neck before. Could be wrong, but Sam Wilson Avengers.
I haven't read a lot of Avengers comics, so who knows?
Yeah, super fair. But really like seeing Avengers that high. Brotherhood's still way up there. They're in 3rd, but the spread is significantly smaller now. So it was Brotherhood capped out at right about 34%, I think, total for overall expenditure of them being taken. And now our highest affiliation percentage is 20.
Right.
Which means we're getting a little bit more balanced. Guardians is still super low at the absolute bottom, though Spider-Foes had been the absolute bottom in Season 5. So that's, I think, the other big change is that Spider-Foes are back.
Yeah.
And as of, 3 hours ago, they're a hell of a lot better, too, with that new
Yeah.
affiliation ability.
I wonder if that is getting carried over into this season or not.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. And speaking of, Spider-Foes went from dead last, 0%, up to 9% at number 5 for this season.
Yeah.
So...
And I think, too, like you were saying, adding more leaders, adding more versatility, it's just prolonging the things that you can do in this game, and it's
Correct.
making it more versatile, and it's going to make people play it for a lot longer. It's going to include people who normally like, meh, I don't really care. As soon as you hear like, oh, I can do that with this character and this and that, that's what's going to kind of like rope people in who have been hesitant, or rekindle it for people who this has gotten stale for them.
Correct. And I think very specifically to that point, seeing the high end of one affiliation coming down, like the highest end by dropping about 10%, is massive, because it means that not only are some of those other affiliations moving up that were a little bit underutilized before, we have nothing at 0%. And our cap is now down, making everything as a whole significantly more viable.
Yep.
And that's what you want. When you look at data, especially in game balancing, you want the smallest spread possible. Ideally, nothing should, once, assuming we add a handful of new affiliations, nothing over 10% would really kind of be the goal.
Right.
And we're well on our way there. I don't think we'll see that, but that would be the dream.
Very interesting. Asgard dropped a ton. Below unaffiliated, which I'm very surprised about.
Well, see, there's been a stream on Twitch that's been out for a while now where this one absolute jackass makes really insane unaffiliated lists every few weeks, and it's really risen in popularity of just kind of doing batshit stuff. So,
Just those casual unaffiliated games.
yeah.
Fluff lists.
Yep.
Fluff lists.
Yep.
Sounds like a real bitch boy to me, but.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The other thing I found really interesting about this is Convocation's super ranked low. I kind of get it because they are so new. Defenders launched back up.
Yes.
Yeah, which I'm thought was interesting.
Yeah.
But Midnight Suns, I mean, holy crap. We knew they were going to be good, and they are all the way at the top, which is interesting. I assume Web Warriors is because of Amazing Spider-Man, which would make a lot of sense. X-Force, really low.
Yeah. X-Force is an expensive list to build. Cable's an expensive leader to have.
Yeah. Wakanda is really low, too.
It kind of fell out of favor.
Did people finally find the counter to it? To Wakanda Wave, I'm going to assume?
I mean, Sam Span kind of trumps it a little bit, so I think a lot of people running that particular one, but also some of the changes to how Shuri worked. And when she can modify.
I don't think it was that devastating.
I think it was people that were heavy Shuri players were like, finally. Or not heavy Shuri players, but heavy anti-Shuri were like, finally.
Yeah, I guess more might have been just a butthurt situation. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you took away my really good thing, so now I'm gonna have to try, and I'm not gonna play anymore.
Right.
So
Take my ball and go home.
as far as the data that I really care about, and that is the power bottom 10. The 10 least played characters in this. We have some of our favorites. Ultron is still there. Bullseye's still there. Somehow even lower. Actually at 0% now. Ebony Maw finally took her all the way down to 0%. And Spider-Man Peter Parker.
Daredevil.
Now in the floor. So there are a couple surprises in this power bottom 10. So outside of the Space Jam, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Black Widow Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a newcomer, Black Dwarf, Daredevil, and Punisher. And Viper. Granted, during the mid-season update last season, Viper did go into the bottom. But some characters that were there before that are now out, that have broken out of the power bottom 10, are Wasp, Hela, Iron Man, and Gamora, and Star-Lord. Actually, the majority of this is new.
Yeah.
And we are so close to Cassandra Nova, straight out of Mitch's trash, hanging at that low 2%.
Yep. I'm surprised. Mr. Sinister is so low. I mean, we all kind of said that he wasn't really a competitive character, more of a funsy character.
Yeah.
Hela, I think, is ridiculous. People are not. I mean, granted,
Don't get it.
I mean, granted, Asgard drops super low, so I get that. I think she's. I think she's way better.
I love Hela.
Deserves a lot more credit.
She might be my favorite.
I'm a little hurt by Punisher because I always thought Punisher was is a great Swiss Army knife character who fits in everywhere. Granted, he doesn't give you any affiliation whatsoever, so I guess, but I don't know. I think he's super solid even with
I do
Brotherhood.
too.
You know.
Not a whole ton of huge changes or sweeps as far as crises go, mostly because we haven't gotten a new one in 18 years. So, as far as that goes, I think Demons Downtown moved up a little bit, and outside that, there wasn't a lot. Fear Grips or Hammers is still the #1 extract. And as far as
Well, to go back to characters, I mean, Okoye is still
Iron
absolute
Fist.
queen of the mono. So Iron Fist, because
Interesting.
he's in Avengers, he's in Midnight Suns, and he's in Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgot he was in Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
That explains, because you and I before the show were like, yeah, he jumped. That's kind of weird. And I was like, oh, Dark Dimension. Because he's pretty good in Dark Dimension. I forgot he's in Midnight Suns.
yeah, and I don't think he was included in season 5 at all, because I don't think he was out at that point.
I don't think so.
But this is the first time we've actually seen a drop in Okoye's Taken.
2.
She went from 66 to 63.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're seeing that is also a positive change. Seeing the capped characters now no longer going up, no longer enhancing that spread, but lowering it a little bit.
Right.
What I find super weird, and that's more, I guess, just because my brain doesn't understand percentages and works and things like that. Midnight Suns is so high, but only Blade is only taken 17% of the time, which means people are not taking him out of affiliation. 34 people are playing Blade, which means 34 people are playing, right? Because we know how many people are playing.
Yep. Yep, they gave us so, and each time
There's one person that's not playing Midnight Suns that took Blade.
yes.
Yep.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of interesting, because I thought, we had talked, I was like, I think Blade fits in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
He fits in Web Warriors really well. We thought he'd fit in Convocation really well. Somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to literally play him in everything, so.
The other big one that I didn't mention just because I wasn't confident at the time, but thankfully Wargaming Dad is in chat. Gamma shelters dropped from 1st to 3rd as far as secure objectives.
I think because people got bored with it,
That could very well be.
It's
That
kind
could
of
very well
one of
be.
those things like, ugh, can we stop bringing it? But it's okay because they replaced it with Demons of Downtown, which is just the reverse.
Correct.
Yep.
Some of the other big changes, in addition to seeing the Asgardian affiliation drop pretty heavily, a lot of the characters that were in that A-Force and Asgard meta list at that time, She-Hulk through the floor, Thor through the floor. Yeah. Enchantress actually moved up, but I think she's the only one that didn't. Valkyrie also moved way down.
I really wish we could get access to the lists, just because I would love to know where they're putting her.
Right.
Because she didn't get added to any affiliation, other than.
I mean, Enchantress being able to steal objectives is a strong throw.
Right, and I get that. I mean, that makes her totally playable outside of her affiliation for sure. But other than Asgard, she did not get added to anything. She's not in Convocation. She's not. Right? Yeah, she's not in Convocation. Maybe put her on Dark Dimension. I don't know. Because, I look at Dark Dimension, I think that's probably where a lot of people are just for funsies going.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's ranked. It's in there. A lot higher than I was expecting it to be.
Here's what I would like to see, because we have Dark Dimension out now, where we have a character affiliation where if you have one character on the roster, the entire team is that affiliation, or the entire squad. I would love to see one of a smaller threat level, so we can really have some fun with unaffiliated lists that are just getting a random power thrown on because you're taking a 3-threat dude here or there.
Who would it be, though?
Who would it be now?
Sorry.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah. I so badly want it.
Yep.
I so badly want it.
I would be willing to take Howard the Duck if he came with an affiliation where, as long as he was on the roster, you were that affiliation.
What would it be? Something dumb?
What was his detective agency called?
I don't remember. Quack something.
Yeah. Who's a character that's in a whole bunch of the Team Ups comics? You could have a Team Ups affiliation.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Batman, Harlem Globetrotters, Scooby-Doo, and who's the Abbott and Costello?
Yes. Yep. Solid team.
Solid team.
Solid team. They get an additional power.
So there's confusion in the chat about Dark Dimension affiliation. You just are Dark Dimension if you have Dormammu, right?
That was my understanding.
Yeah.
If you put him in your squad, you become
then
Dark
our
Dimension.
Dark Dimension. But there isn't like a Dark Dimension like if there was a Dark Dimension list, it would just be Dormammu.
Yes.
It is. It
then
literally is
everybody.
just Dormammu
Okay.
on the sheet. But when you are building your squad, if you put Dormammu on your squad, you automatically become Dark Dimension
Yes.
as a cap to keep him from being able to play in other affiliation abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. And if I am, I'm joking.
Mitch just described, spoiler alert, confirmed here, you heard it first, what the affiliation name for Howard the Duck is, and it's called Once You Go Duck.
Fair.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Actually, I could see a situation where it's literally Dormammu's affiliation bonus.
Dark Duck Mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dimension.
What a play on words. And he comes with Dum Dum Dugan.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
just want Dum Dum Dugan and Howard the Duck together. Howard the Duck is a 2-threat. All he has is punch and the affiliation bonus. That's it.
Here we go. I got it.
Okay.
I got you your 3-threat
Uh-huh.
character, major character,
Okay.
who's not in the game yet,
Yeah.
who provides his own affiliation,
Okay.
regardless of who's there.
It's Quinn Choir, isn't it?
Nick Fury, 3-threat, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Actually, that makes too much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. That
Yep.
actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So boom,
Damn.
we did it.
Yep.
Good job.
Look her down, Charlie Brown.
We're gonna patent that shit right here.
We really should continually email AMG just like, hey.
I have emailed them 3 times this week.
I know.
Just forwarding a previous email being like, hey, just want to make sure you have eyes on this.
Hey folks, it's like, hey, you guys get this email? Just want to make sure you got it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we would have to change a lot of this show, I think, to get a real sponsorship from them. You know what I mean? We're not going to.
At least one of us would have to wear pants.
Accurate.
And it's not me.
It's
so.
fair. I mean, it's your house.
I'll wear leggings. I'm not going to wear full pants.
Yeah, I'm past that age. No more pants for me, thank
Yep.
you.
And
Leggings
Commando,
are bust.
obviously.
I Donald Duck it on a regular basis way more than I think I should.
Oh.
Yeah.
How is Donald Ducking different from Winnie the Poohing? Is it because you have a hat on?
Fancy sailor hat.
Ooh.
No, it really, it kind of just depends where you kind of fall.
Yeah.
Stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Usually,
Or is it if your shirt has buttons?
It's usually
So Donald Duck, I could see the chef coat.
right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. It really just depends on if you have a speech impediment or not. You know what I mean?
Oh, super.
Yeah.
Or if
fair.
you're addicted to sugar and emotional eating.
Yep.
Yep.
Super fair.
Yep.
Also, if you have scoliosis,
Ah.
Shit, I do have that.
because he's a duck.
Well, it's because you're in a school all the time.
If you have a,
Scoliosis.
Scoliosis.
if you have a corkscrew penis, too, also depends.
I
yeah,
also have one of those.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yep.
And most of it's the corkscrew.
I am Donald Duck.
Listen, you could be a lot worse. You know?
True. It's true.
As far as other things
Yep.
that we could talk about that I wanted to bring up.
Hit Monkey on
Hit
HBO.
Monkey on Hulu.
Or Hulu, sorry, on Hulu.
Yes.
Are you
Do you think we'll
excited?
get... I've had a very limited interaction with Hitmonkey, and it was in a Deadpool and Spider-Man team-up.
Yeah, that's what I was told. Yep.
Like I've told you that before.
No, that's where I was told where he came from. Cause
Is that really where he came from?
Yeah, he came from the Deadpool series.
Oh,
He's like a Deadpool character or something.
I just assumed that he had been around before that.
That's what I know
Okay,
of.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
or,
so-
or at least Deadpool made him relevant.
Yes.
Because all of the hashtags underneath the TikTok I posted was under the Deadpool.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, so I own Hitmonkey's origin then.
Sure.
Baller.
Yep. Sounds right.
It's about a monkey who was killing people
Yep.
in New York City, and Deadpool had just gotten into town, and Spider-Man was like, Deadpool, you need to stop going around killing those people. I know it's you. And he's like, no, it wasn't me. I'm pretty certain it was this monkey I saw.
Right.
And hijinks ensued.
Yep. I want credit. I'm reading a Deadpool title currently.
Wow.
Yep.
What title?
Total Carnage versus Deadpool.
Okay.
Because I've been working through the Total Carnage series.
Yeah.
And pretty much it's
It's him just chasing him through deserts.
yeah, pretty
Isn't
much. Yeah. Well, so what happens is it opens with It opens with Spider-Man and Deadpool running from every Spider-Man villain because Deadpool threw him a birthday party, but he doesn't know his real identity. So he was like, I just invited everyone that knew you, which is all of your villains. I don't know your secret identity, Spider-Man. I'm really sorry. And the best part I loved about it was Rhino brought him a gift for the birthday party.
Aww.
He's like, you know what? Never mind, and throws it on the ground. And then Deadpool picks it up and puts it on, and it was a hoodie that made you look like a rhino.
Aww.
It was,
Cute.
That's
really
so nice.
and then
that.
literally, Spider-Man's just like, look, I'm done doing team ups with you. I like, you need to go to therapy. Here's a guy. Go check him out.
Was
And
it Dr. Bong?
no, it was John Jameson.
Was he the Hulk therapist guy?
Yeah, I think so, or something like that.
Dr. Green or something?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he was just like, okay, you'll get over it. And then, like, Spider-Man doesn't return any of his calls. He goes, all right, well, I miss having my friend, so I guess I'm going to go. And then he shows up, and, like, Carnage is just taking over the whole hospital,
Yeah.
and hilarity ensues. I actually did appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm coming around a little bit. I still don't like him, but I'm coming around.
Yeah.
Yep. Wish list?
Wish list. Oh, yeah. I got a wish list.
Yeah.
Gonna really mix it up this week. Quentin Quire.
Makes
Phantom
sense.
X.
Okay.
I got Magic, actually. She was
Yeah.
in my top 3.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's been brought up on the show yet. I really like this idea of like Nick Fury coming in and then giving him like a very similar affiliation bonus to Dormammu.
Danny, thumbs up that real quick.
Yeah.
There we
Thank you.
go.
Yeah, I think that's a super solid idea. I would like a 3-threat AIM Scientist Supreme, and then making which is literally just a jacked up AIM trooper who goes around and bullies all the other AIM troopers. It just calls them dumb. I really like it. Because like we won't ever get like, because we got Hydra Bob, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we won't ever get like a real AIM trooper.
Right.
I don't think you can say that. We could get a real AIM trooper.
Well, AIM Scientist Supreme would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because he's like the only real named, other than Gary. But I feel like that's too shticky.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be really cool. I still want Arcade.
What character? So, and this is for both us and for the chat. As they're going through this first 50 review and updating some characters, do you have a short list of the characters that you really feel need just a tiny tweak, and what is that tweak?
Bullseye.
So, also number 1 on my list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which like I don't know. Make his builder a 5. I think that's all
I
he
think
really
that's
needs.
all it needs.
Yep.
Yep.
Just bring him up, which is tough because he's a 3-threat, and most 3-threat builders are only 4 strength. So like I don't know unless
At that range.
right at that range, or automatically gets 1 power at the end of the turn.
Okay.
So then like he could then potentially always have the ability to always do damage. If no, you get the power at the end of the activation, right? When do you get power?
At the
end of the turn.
Or at
If
the end
you're
of the
doing,
attack?
like-
Yeah.
Yes.
after
Okay.
damage is done. After the attack is resolved.
Oh, so he wouldn't be able to do it then.
Right.
Okay.
I think you just change that to 0, make it an innate. If he doesn't deal damage on his attack, you do 1. I don't even think that's the biggest deal in the world, too.
I think you're getting into 4-threat territory then.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, being able to do auto damage
Right.
Yeah.
on a 3 is pretty brutal.
But
think
it's already
that's-
1 power, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And the chances of you doing no damage are already not super
Well, see,
stellar anyway.
You just want reasons to do hit and run every time now.
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's most of it.
Yeah.
I think across the board they'll have to look at threat level, builder cost, builder range,
Yep.
that sort of thing, and then they're just going to have to make everything kind of, generic across the board, tweaking it to make everything
As uniform
cohesive.
as you can.
Yep.
Almost template it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there's a little bit of nerf batting that needs to go on too. I think some people need to be toned down just a little bit.
Do you have the
Like
time?
I'd almost rather see people get nerfed and adjusted downward than I would like to see a bunch of characters be brought up to their level.
Okay.
That's it.
One that Mitch brings up in the chat is Ghost Rider being immune to Hex and Incinerate.
Which would
Yeah.
make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And so where's Ghost Rider on?
Not ranked very well.
He's got to be pretty low, right? I feel like I forget he's even in this game. He's normally so untaken.
He is just above Dormammu at 14 people, taking him at 7%.
Okay, that's higher than I would have expected, I guess.
I mean, outranks Steve Rogers,
Yeah.
outranks Hood and She-Hulk.
That's wild.
Well,
He was taking
he's in Midnight Suns.
Right.
He was taking
Yep.
the same
Yeah.
amount as all of them.
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I lied.
They're all
I read it
13
wrong.
takes, but
Crossbones at 11. Good for him.
yeah. Listen, you can't mess with the boss Croned.
I think we'll see a fix there too. I think Crossbones is going to get brought up to being a little bit better.
What do you think about? So here's two really great ones. Mr. Beam in chat said core Spidey to 3 threat, no changes.
Yeah, that fixes him. I mean, that's the complaint that everybody has had.
Yeah.
So that would make a lot of sense.
We haven't seen a threat change yet. Do you think that would be the first one?
Yeah, I think he's the only one too.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one who gets really adjusted like that.
Yeah.
I,
And that would be the easier fix to make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of
You
reaching,
know?
because he's actually he is a solid character.
yeah, he did work after I turned Craven into him that one
Yeah,
time.
you threw 3 people.
I threw the same person 3 times for 1 damage each.
Right. But if he was 3 threat, that's pretty legit output. So
Ultron is another one. His builder needs to be 5 strength. He's a 4. Just do that. Make that streamlined.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe even a 6, just to make him a little bit better at a 4.
6 is rare for a 4, I feel, but
But it's Ultron.
it is Ultron.
Like Ultron is a threat. They made a movie about it. You know?
there was a
That's
whole
true.
age of them. I'm pretty
Yeah.
certain.
Yeah.
There was one other one I saw in the chat. It was
Actually, Wolverine's only at a 10, or is that 5% with 10 people?
yeah. That's something I think Wargaming Dad had mentioned was upping his health on his injured side.
No, that was Mitch.
Mitch.
Yep.
Mitch is just the best.
We can talk about it a little bit because it was confirmed a couple of more times.
Yes.
2 characters that are coming out.
Yeah.
Uh,
X-23.
X-23 and Honey Badger.
Hell
Badger,
yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yep.
Gonna help out that X-Force affiliation.
Mm-hmm.
You think 3 and 2 threat?
Nope. I think 3 and 4. I think X-23 will be a 4 and Honey Badger will be a 3.
Why?
Because I think for the most part,
I don't want another Wolverine. I don't want 2 Wolverines on the field.
I think you'll
There are going to be
get
2 more Wolverines.
yeah. I think you'll get a very different Wolverine. I think you'll get a long movement Wolverine who has some of her blood tracker stuff abilities. Where if someone is bleeding, she gets bonus dice similar to Blade. You can probably play a tactics card to have her a enemy character be targeted by her scent ability. I think you'll get a more agile, finessey Wolverine.
Yes.
Also, maybe even with a slightly not limited, but not as overpowering healing factor. More similar to Sabretooth. So now
But
that I
factor
said
of
all of
one.
those things, it sounds actually just like Sabretooth.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, still, I think that's probably what it would be. And then Honey Badger would be like a super aggressive, medium movement Baron Zemo.
Makes sense.
Would be able to move after attacks on wilds and things like that. Would have an elusive or something along those lines,
Right.
but bleeds and a charge.
Makes sense. I mean, 2 of the most popular X-Men out there. That we would be getting them. So
Actually, so once again, Mitch brings up a good point of X-23 being a 3, kind of on the same level with Valk, but with a healing factor.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give her a charge. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Yep. I almost kind of like her to have a pounce over a charge.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think to mix
Yeah.
that up a little bit for sure, especially since she would not be on the card that allows Sabretooth and Wolverine to pounce.
Right.
Yep.
So,
I think it's super dope. I actually like that. Like Valk with a pounce instead of a charge.
Mhm.
I think it'd be kind of dope. Which would also kind of fit more because she would just jump on people.
yes.
So kind of cool. Anything else?
2 more things.
Yeah.
Number 1, people in the chat, like this video. We have 4 likes so far on this video.
Oh yeah, give us a like.
Go like it,
Give
please.
subscribe and stuff.
Number 2,
The hell.
I just want to say, you guys, happy anniversary. We've been doing, the Power Phase for a year.
Yeah. Actually, this past Monday was our exact 1-year anniversary, I think.
Yep. So you know what that means.
Butt sex.
It's time for butt stuff.
Was that really what you were thinking, too?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking at you, Chuck.
Oh, listen. I'm not even on that show anymore. So y'all lose. Y'all missed out.
We want to make you feel included.
I appreciate that.
And then give it to you a second time with feeling.
With feeling.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just cleaned back there too before I
Oh.
came over.
There you go.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Got 8 likes now. Thanks, people in chat.
Yeah.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, we should
Aw.
probably do that more. Like, hey, like and subscribe to this video.
Oh, yeah.
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 9 likes.
Head over to patreon.com/professionalcasual. As little as $1 get access to our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Check out all the other amazing shows here at the Professional Casual Network, like
A Lost Omens podcast.
That's me.
Pathfinder 2nd Edition podcast that Danny GMs.
Yep.
Dan GMs a couple games, too. Settling the Southlands and Gapapa.
Yep.
We're going to podcast Imperial's Adventure. We also have Elite 8 Showdown this Friday. Tomorrow, some might say. That episode actually drops in about 4 hours from now.
Yep.
And we're talking about
Best thing for your mental health.
best thing for your mental health.
That's actually a really solid episode. We didn't scream hardly at all. If you like
Surprisingly
if
serious.
you like Tim and I going back and forth on this show, you should go see it where we get to swear a lot more.
Get to is a strong word, but yeah. Yep.
We're
That's
not
all-
on YouTube.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thanks for watching / listening.
Yeah. Till next time, true believers. We, of course, have been Wait, Did I Roll a Wild in Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog, brought to you by the Professional Casual Network. See you Monday
Monday.
on the stream.
Oh, it'll be Dan and I, and we're going to be playing the 16th threat, the final mission of the Empirical
Right.
Ministravaganza. bit.
Also, real quick,
And Dan's going to be playing Ghost Rider.
be sure to give us a follow over at twitch.tv/Professional Casual Network, where I should be hopefully up this weekend. We're going to do a couple test runs of doing just some hobby hangout painting stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I got the cameras in, I got the LED lights for ambiance. I'm really excited about it. So,
Super important.
and to hang out with me at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm still up.
Super important. Happy birthday, Mitch.
Yeah, I was going to announce it in a big way. He's my best friend!
Not anymore. He's my best friend.
Mitch! Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, bud! That's exciting.
Mitch, I threw a water and I don't know where it went.
Yeah, luckily
Oh,
the
no.
cap was on it, unlike Elite Eight Showdown where we just leave the cap.
She doesn't know about that.
We flooded your basement for a hot minute.
Yeah.
With that being said, true believers, Mitch, happy birthday! Bye. This is when you stop recording.
We can sing him happy birthday real quick.
No, you get a strike against that now.
Happy birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
What if yeah, I think we do the Applebee's one.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday from Applebee's to you. If you like the show, give us a thank and like it too.
Happy birthday.
Bye, Mitch.
What is this show?
I don't know.
What is this show?